Sure. Gosh, there are too many, but I'll share a few. Um, you know, one of our telecom customers, especially for large service providers, telecom companies, you've got the issues of customer centricity, what the customers want, when they want, and how they want it, right? The usual customer service is a epidemic problem. Typically, there's a huge churn. People have issues with their service, and they call into the contact centers, and they don't get their queries answered. The vision from the top, and the executives are left wondering that the why is the vision from the top of how we want to treat our customers, how we want to handle them, what kind of services, and what is our approach to sort of servicing our customers. Why doesn't that trickle down? Why do we have cases where as you some of you might have read, one of pay TV provider had an incident where the contact center changed the name on the bill on the invoice, and use some sort of bad language and so on. So those type of things, right? Part of the problem is that in terms, and it's not that a lot of these large pay TV providers, and we work with the executives all the time, and they really want to treat their customers like they're king. The problem isn't in the intent, the problem is in the execution, the vision, and the approach, and provisioning of the resources. That doesn't trickle down. And then the other side of the problem is that the people in the front end who are interfacing with the customers, they get plenty of live feedback of, what, that product or that service, the customers don't want that. Here's what they want. That feedback then doesn't sort of ripple up, right? So the vision from the top and the intent from the top, which is all fine and dandy, that doesn't trickle down, and then the feedback directly from the customer doesn't go back up. So we had one of our telecom customers implement this, and across their contact center, field reps, people interfacing either directly with the customers or through the reseller program and so on. And and they were grappling with a lot of churn issue when customers would leave that provider to kind of join a different provider. They were able to reduce that churn significantly, almost to the extent of 7 to 10%, which in terms of absolute numbers is huge. And mostly because of connecting of that two sides of communication barriers. So the feedback from the bottom, sort of, coming to the top, and then the vision and intent from the top trickling down to the bottom, right? And more importantly, all along the way, people who are part of that value chain, they're all getting tied together, not just with the right information, but everything else they need to service the business use case better, because it provides that contextual intelligence we talked about, right? So it connects the right dots, but in connecting the right dots, it also feeds the right intelligence, right? So it helps you from that standpoint as well. So we've had several success stories like that. One of our IT professional services, customer, as we are all aware that there is this huge problem of knowledge retention, attrition, people joining a competitor, and then when they're part of the organization, they're typically part of a specific specialty area, and then for any new specialty area that you work on, you have to hire for new talent. So they were able to, before reaching out to the market, because of the contextual intelligence and the lightning sort of search that the platform provides, they were able to look within the organization inwards and find out talent in the existing talent pool that even their HR didn't know existed, right? So the guy that you had assigned on a project, let's say, who was supposedly a Java programmer, turns out that in his spare time he's one of the best mobile developer out there. Who knew? Well, Hallwaze does, right? Because it knows your attributes, right? So it's those type of unlocking of talent and what people have in totality, as opposed to typically when in organizations you're hired for a specific talent. that one specific thing in the context of the whole personality, such a small percentage, that guy can contribute on so many different levels, or that gal can contribute on so many different levels, but you don't have a forum where you can discover all the talent they have, right? So they were able to solve a lot of that talent acquisition problem, not necessarily by hiring more talent, but by tapping talent within, right? And then the retention of knowledge, where context aware knowledge of different projects, stuff that you've already done, and then typically the tribal knowledge goes with that team or the individuals. But if people are working on something, our customers would share with us that they were doing a large migration, for instance, on a middleware technology, right? Now, in a large professional services organization, you've carried out that project, and a lot of the specifics of that project, that team knows well, but in a different business vertical, in a different center of excellence in the same organization, they got a similar initiative in a different account, and they are presenting with the help of pre-sales and some of their sort of support teams. Here's how we can solve this problem, not knowing that a problem like that has been solved elsewhere, right? And they said, hey, because we had Hallwaze and because it is able to crunch that metadata and connect the asynchronous dots together, that team that was pitching the solution as a solution they were going to build, they were able to propose a ready-made solution. It helped their end customer with their go-to-market, because it was ready-made solution, 1 month of customization, and they're ready to go to market. The customer itself had budgeted for at least 9 months to a 12 months kind of an effort. So you save on that time. And guess what? You save on money, and the customer now knows, here's the value provider. Because they're able to provide me value, let me give them more contract, right? So that's how some of our customers are able to really benefit from the platform way beyond just the usual social share and one word, intelligence, that it provides, and the way it aggregates information for you.